What's up guys, hope everyone's doing well. Now in this video I'm going to be running you through how to portion out how to portion out your plate when muscle gain is your goal. Alright, now this is a very deep subject and we can really go down the rabbit hole, but I'm going to give you some quick, very easy ways to get this process started right away. Alright, now I'm going to talk about two things before we actually get started. The first thing is what kind of things we have to do in our training to stimulate muscle growth. And second is how sleep and hormonal status is going to be important when trying to gain muscle. Alright, so we'll start with training. Now with training there's three ways to really build muscle. Mechanical tension, muscular damage, and metabolic stress. Now mechanical tension you can think of is like that 1 to 5 rep zone where you're lifting heavy weights and you're putting a lot of stress onto the muscle, right? And the muscle is really tensing up to create this movement. That's mechanical tension. Right, it's usually within the 1 to 5 reps, but not limited to that number of reps. Second thing is muscular damage. All right, is the next day when you wake up, you're a little sore, right? And that's basically your muscles have been a little damaged, and it's creating a little inflammation, which is causing that soreness. If you've trained, you've definitely felt. And then metabolic stress. Metabolic stress you can think of as like that pump, like when you do a heavy set of squats or some bicep curls, you feel like your muscles have inflamed and puffed up. That's metabolic stress. Anytime you feel a burn, that's essentially what metabolic stress is. Now, how do you get to those? Now, we talk about reps in reserve and RPE a lot, right? And so essentially what we know from the science that is available right now, and obviously it might change over time, but right now what's available to us is that whether we go to total failure or if we're short by 1 or 2 reps from failure, the outcome is pretty much the same. And so what we want to learn is how close to failure did we get in training, and can we stop just 1 rep short of it, right? 1, it's safer. 2, you're probably going to be less sore the next day but get the same results, right? And so really what you want to be thinking about with your training is training to failure, right? And getting as close and stopping just short, because it's the same. Like doing that extra rep is really not going to make a difference. But one of the things that happens a lot is people misunderstand where failure is. And so you have to flirt with failure a little bit. Go to a point where you cannot do another rep. And so training to failure or just short of failure is where you want to be in your training. All right. Second thing is sleep. And I'm going to take you to another slide really quick. Sleep is going to be super important because your hormonal status is determined by your sleep. All right. Now, if you see this lifestyle pyramid, you have sleep, nutrition, stress, then training. Because if you can get sleep and nutrition down, you're going to really regulate stress and you're going to have a lot of output in your training. So good sleep, good nutrition leads to very good training. All right, cool. Moving on. Now, what does sleep do with hormonal status? Now, everything to do with hormones, whether it's testosterone, HGH, which is human growth hormone, cortisol, or IGF-1. IGF-1 is literally what is the catalyst for muscle growth. All right, and so all of these are regulated through adequate sleep. You're gonna produce enough of it, and you're gonna be able to reap the benefits of your training and your good diet. All right, so sleep is going to be super important because your hormonal status depends on it, and with bad hormonal status it's going to be very difficult to gain muscle. All right guys, now to the actual meals. All right, there's going to be 2 different types of meals. There's going to be an anytime meal, and then there's going to be your post-workout meal, and I'll be going back and forth as I'm explaining this thing to you. All right, now I'm going to keep this so simple, it's going to be really easy to implement. All right, you can go down into a rabbit hole about this, but honestly I feel it's unnecessary most of the time, and it's pretty simple. Okay, there's 3 things you really want to pay attention: total caloric intake, total protein, total carbohydrates. If you get these 3 things in the right amounts, you're going to start seeing success really fast. All right, cool. First thing is total calories. Now what you want to be feeling is that you eat to 120% full at every meal. The reason we don't like to talk about a number is because usually the habits that you need to gain are already quite tough, and thinking about eating the exact amount of food can put us out of whack and out of tune with what the actual feelings are when we're eating. Okay, so eat to 120% full. Eating fast helps because there's a connection between your brain and your gut or in your stomach, and you can bypass that by eating fast. Just like when we want to lose weight, we eat slower, right? So we're more in tune. So eating fast helps. Chew your food thoroughly because that'll help digestion. So your stomach doesn't have teeth, so it can't chew for you. It's going to have to do all these other things to digest the food. So chew thoroughly, and then eat your starchy carbohydrates at every meal, okay, to hit adequate calories. There's two different types of carbohydrates that you want to be eating. In your anytime meal, what you want to be thinking about is making sure that you're eating slow releasing carbohydrates. All right. All that means is that things like fruit, things like oatmeal, things like whole grains, those are the things that you want to be eating in your anytime meals. So anytime it's not post-workout, that's what you want to be eating. Post-workout, you want to be eating the nice stuff, right? And so the white rice, the pasta, and all of that stuff that we really enjoy and are told to stay away from, that's the time you want to be eating it, post-workout, because your body's going to inhale all of that stuff really quickly and replenish it into the muscle and the liver. So in order to build muscle, you need adequate carbohydrates so you can increase storage units and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Protein is very simple. You want to eat 2 palms per meal, circumference, thickness, 3 times a day. That's 6 palms per day. If you feel like you're not gaining muscle at the right rate, increase it to 7. It's as simple as that. All right. So at one meal, you're going to be eating 3 palms per day. Okay. Now, what you will see on this anytime meal is a whole lot of veggies, right? And the reason we want plenty of veggies in our diet is because as we are trying to build muscle, we want to make sure that we're getting the adequate minerals, vitamins, and nutrients getting into our bodies so that we can repair and heal at a fast rate, right? Because quality is important. The quality of your food will dictate the outcome of your physique, outcome of your strength, outcome of your performance. And so quality is highly important, even though you are trying to gain weight. Fats, you want a healthy dose of fats, but most of the time what happens is our protein is going to have fats in it, and sometimes if we're cooking our veggies, we're going to have a little bit of oil in there, a little bit of butter in there. And so don't worry too much about fats unless it becomes a problem where you're not getting enough of it in your diet. Then you want to be trying to supplement it by eating nuts, eating seeds, avocados, coconut. Pulsam is a big thing in Sri Lanka, so you want to be eating that only in your anytime meal. You do not want to be eating that in your post-workout meal, because fats slow down digestion in your post-workout meal, which is why we take them out of our post-workout meal. Okay, now what you'll notice here is that half the plate is protein, half the plate is veggies in your post-workout meal, because post-workout you're depleted and you want plenty of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients so you can replenish stores. And again, you have your starches here. Now, this is a very, very, very simplified way to be eating to gain muscle. And I promise you it works. If you just stick to those guidelines, you are going to see success. You're going to see growth. You're going to see increase in strength. You're going to see increase in muscle. But obviously, those 3 things need to be in place. You need to be sleeping adequately. You need to be training to or close to failure, and you need to be eating adequate calories, protein, and carbohydrates throughout the day. If you need any help trying to figure those things out, guys, shoot us a message. We can help you figure that out. Honestly, one of the things that I see people fail with when they're trying to achieve their goals is they start counting calories too early in their journey. The first thing you want to do is make sure you know how to eat adequate protein without counting calories. Counting calories is where you go to optimize performance and optimize muscle gain. And so just implementing these habits are going to result in a huge increase in strength and huge increase in muscle if you just monitor and measure it the way I mentioned it in this video. Now, in this next slide, there's going to be a little troubleshoot guide, right? If you ever feel like your results are not headed in the right direction, come back to this video, come to the end of the video and check out the troubleshoot guide, and it's going to give you different scenarios, and most likely one of those scenarios are going to be you, and it also explains what you want to be doing if you're running into those issues that those scenarios describe. Hope that helps, guys. Getting muscle is not the most impossible thing in the world, but it takes a little bit of diligence, a little bit of practice, a little bit of patience, a little bit of intuition, and a lot of hard training. I hope that helps, guys. Take it easy. We shall see you at the box.